art shipping is its own kind of separate thing. So art shippers, the art has to travel in a climate-controlled space and with like extra shocks so that nothing's bouncing around back there. And of course, it's all strapped down really carefully. So unloading it is quite an undertaking. So it was a couple of hours to get everything unloaded from the truck. And then art needs to acclimatize, because even just going through, our loading dock is heated, of course, but even just going through from the truck out into the open air of the loading dock into our galleries can be shocking for a painting on panel or on canvas or works on paper. And we started opening up all of the crates, some of which were for single pieces of art and some housed, I think the biggest one probably had 5 different pieces in it. So yeah, we started opening up the crates, and there's like a very extensive Excel document that's the crate list, and so it lists what paintings should be in there and the dimensions and any notes that we need to know. So when you open up the crates, you're checking that off the list of like, okay, this one is here. Both the courier and our museum registrar looked at all of the paintings, just so we're aware if there are any problem areas or things that we should be aware of. There might be a loose wiggly spot on one of the frames, because all of these frames are original to the artwork, so they're relatively old. So if there's like a loose spot on the frame, or if the painting is sliding a little bit, just so we're aware of things to look out for while they're under our roof. So yeah, the courier and our registrar look at every single painting, and then I had a general idea of where everything was going to go in the galleries, and so once the painting had been okayed and we knew that it traveled safely, we would lift it and place it in the gallery that it's going to be hung in. So kind of getting things grouped where I wanted them to was a big step forward. It's a very exhaustive process. Obviously, these are all really beautiful, wonderful works of art, and we want to make sure that they're traveling really well and that they're still safe and nothing is happening to them. With paintings, and this exhibition is mostly paintings. With paintings, there are several things. Just, most of these paintings are over 100 years old, and so, depending on the canvas or panel that it was on, the paint could be flaking in some area. There could be damage from an outside source. Some artists didn't prime their canvases or their panels, and so they just, they're not thinking, how is this going to affect the work 100 years later? That's not something that most artists take into consideration. So there can just be some issues, or if the painting was previously like in a private collection and there weren't temperature and humidity controls surrounding it, and all of that stresses. Paintings breathe. Whatever environment they're in, they're taking that in and exhaling too. So there are a lot of things that can happen, but all of these paintings are in really excellent condition, so we're very lucky. This courier had been in Florida wrapping up the exhibition, and so then she went from Florida back to, I think, Pennsylvania for a few days and then flew out here. So she just saw these paintings when they came off the wall in Ocala, Florida, and so now she's looking at them again. So she has papers listing, for every single work in the exhibition of like, okay, and she'll have a diagram of like, all right, the frame is loose there, there's some puckering here. So she knows exactly what the problem areas are, and she's seen these paintings so many times that she's basically just checking up on things she knows might be issues and looking for other things. And, we saw some things too. The crates have a lot of like foam inside of them, and so when we were pulling these paintings out, and they're usually in they're usually in plastic bags, if we saw like some little detritus, we would call her over and be like, okay, is this something from the frame or the painting that we need to be aware of? Or in all of the cases, it was just some foam, because if you keep pulling things in and out of foam that's really tight against it, you're obviously going to shave a little bit of the foam off every time. But it's just stuff like that. You're really, really careful and very attentive to everything. A lot of these paintings are very large, and a lot of them have extremely large frames, so a lot of them were team lifts and things that one person could not, or definitely should not, and could not, in my case, move by themselves. So we really did need that many people on hand because the crates themselves are really big and unwieldy, and as soon as we unpacked a crate, we were trying to move it and get it out of our way so that we could go through. There were 33 crates that were shipped for this exhibition, and so in our gallery space, that ate up a lot of area. So we were trying to get them out of the way so we could move around a little bit more. So you have people unpacking crates, the courier and the registrar looking over the work, 2 people generally moving the work from the table where the courier and the registrar are looking at it to the wall in the gallery where it's going to go. So there are a lot of moving parts. I am in the middle of doing the layout for the exhibition. As I said, when we were uncrating them, I was generally trying to get things that I knew I wanted together in the galleries that I had previously assigned them. Definitely with no exhibition, and certainly not one of this size, do you go in and be like, I'll just figure it out when I see them. So I have spent a lot of time with graph paper and a checklist of the exhibition, deciding what themes I want together, how I want to group things, size-wise, what's going to work on what wall. Are the themes going to fit where I want them to? Do I need to switch galleries? Do I need to, change the orientation of paintings? So now I'm in the process of actually laying that out in the galleries. There's kind of the first pass where I just generally get things in the galleries where I want them, next to the paintings that I want them to be next, which is where I am right now. I've kind of done that first pass, and so now what's going to happen is that I need to go through with a tape measure and some blue painter's tape and make sure, everything is measured out, and so like there's however many inches I decide between every single painting on the wall, make sure everything is even. We have a certain height that we hang at, and it's slightly different whether things are hung in the upstairs galleries or the downstairs galleries. So just kind of getting everything ready so that when Judy comes in next week, she can start putting up the hanging hardware and actually getting things on the wall. It takes more time to wrap a present than it does to unwrap a present. But yeah, it'll be the same thing. The courier will come back and she'll look at everything, make sure nothing happened to any of the artwork while it was here, that, everything that she saw, this time is the exact same when she comes back. And then we will take everything off the wall and we will rewrap it and we will put it back in its crate, and then we'll stack the crates together, and then the art shipment truck will come again and it'll pick it up and take it to its next destination.